Hey guys, you are listening to Insights with Kathleen,
Please join us while we share our insights and experiences
with the hope to inspire you to look inside of yourself.
for the answers you already have.
As with all information we receive,
Take what speaks to you
and leave the rest. Marker.
Welcome back, everyone.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah. How are you doing? How you doing?
I love the interact with me. I'm good. I'm assuming you're good.
I think I'm good.
I'm glad.
Good. Oh, my goodness. So Sherry and I just had some turkey earlier.
Yes, we did.
And it was like kind of remnants of Thanksgiving. I don't know about the rest of you. So here in the U.S., we practice Thanksgiving. And when we eat turkey, it just makes you want to go to sleep. And I'm kind of feeling that way right now, Sherry.
You're already tired? What? Rest assured, guys, I'm not tired yet. I drank a lot of water. We got coconut water. I'm good to go. Kathleen's like, I'm already ready to go to bed. Well, funny for her is she has the topic for the day, so she can't go to sleep.
Do. But before we get into that topic today, I just want to point out Sherry's jacket.
Oh, yes.
Here's the merch. Her little buttons.
Here's the merch. There's a little welcome back, everyone. The little... our little logo over here, the GC squared. Now, thank you for reminding me of that. Thank you.
You're welcome. See, I'm not as asleep as you thought I was.
Apparently, I am. Yes, we have merch, guys. We have buttons. We have T-shirts. We have hoodies. We even have your favorite mouse pads. So we'll link those in the show notes down below. But definitely check out our store. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow. She should be on radio or something.
Or something. Or something. I don't know.
All right. So, Sherry.
So, Kathleen.
Do you remember when we started this season, we were talking about as above, so below?
Yes, but can you refresh my memory on what that meant?
So basically what happens... All right, so Jesus had actually said it. Our friend Jesus. Remember our friend Jesus? Our friend Jesus. Yeah. Our friend Jesus. So he was basically trying to convey to his followers, to us, to his people, so many centuries later, that, what happens here, we carry it over when we go. So basically when we're in spirit, there's something that we want to develop within inside of ourselves, or that we want to explore or grow. Mm-hmm. So then we'll become embodied and we'll work on that here. Right. In the human form, in this kind of reality. Mm-hmm. And then whatever maybe we didn't finish working or we did finish working on goes with us. Sometimes the personality of who we are, we're the same here and there. Which so nice. As above, so below, Yeah. And there's certain other universal laws that go along with that, which we won't recap and get into right now.
Yeah, just watch the episode, guys. If you missed it.
Yeah, watch the episode. We just kind of skirt it, but there'll be more information than I'm giving here. So as another part of that is we had talked about so within as without.
Yes. Yeah, I think we have talked about it a little bit.
Yes. So we kind of introduced that just a little bit on that
little
first
teaser.
One. Teaser. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
And what is that?
Yeah.
Well, you've heard in other podcasts when we've said this in many different ways. Right. Because my favorite word, perspective.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So a lot of those other podcasts where we are talking about, it's our perspective. Mm-hmm. It's how we perceive things. And it's kind of the same thing with as within, so without, or so within, as without. It could be said either way, right? So what's happening on the inside of you, what you are working through or struggling with, or just la 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 la, I'm happy and going with the flow.
I like that.
So like if you're happy and going with the flow on the inside and things are chill and you're kind of even and life doesn't feel hard and you don't have that kind of resistance, then on the outside of you, life just seems to be flowing and everything just happens. It's just easy breezy. But if you are someone who on the inside you have all these stories that are going on in your mind and, oh my goodness, this story is people suck, or, life just sucks, my job sucks, everything sucks. Well, guess what? On the outside, it's all going to just suck.
Yes. I've met those people.
Right?
Yes.
Right? So, and some of us, there are people who live in those extremes.
Right.
And then some of us, it's just, every day can be different.
Yeah.
Some days are good, some days not so good.
Right.
Some days are this, some days are that. Have you ever woken up from a dream? And I know you have, because you have shared this with me. So this is kind of me just asking her just to get her into this conversation here.
Right.
But do you recall like waking up from one of those dreams and you're still feeling a lot of emotion?
Oh,
that
yeah.
you were dreaming of. Like in the dream, you had all this emotion going on.
Yes.
And then when you wake up, you still have that emotion.
Yes.
Right? So what's that feel like for the rest of your day?
Oh, it feels nasty. It just feels gross and murky and just.
But you carried that emotion around.
Yeah.
Right? And when you're carrying that emotion around, how does your day look? Like, how does people, like the same people that you saw yesterday when you didn't have this heaviness of feeling, right?
Yeah.
And you're facing those people with this heaviness of feeling from your dream, do they appear different?
So I guess for me, because, we even just said it, I've felt that way before. And I guess like a great example for me is like had a dream, felt really angry or just carried that emotion all day. And I just had the feeling of like, I'm really mad. Everyone hates me. Nobody likes me. Like I just carried that sour bitterness. And it was really funny because I've had like that instance. And then like when someone's really nice to me, I was like, oh yeah, it's not too bad. And it kind of snaps me back. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, or I can recall having those kinds of dreams and then feeling like I can't look at anyone.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So then I'm feeling like I'm hiding more and more within me. And that's really just everything that's happening inside of me. And I'm bringing that to the outside world.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it doesn't always necessarily mean that what's happening inside of me is the real reality of what's happening in the outside world.
Yes. I know what you mean.
Yeah? Do you have an example?
Well, I mean, I guess I was having a day. I was feeling really, just murky and heavy. And I was like, oh, like, again, I thought everyone, like, didn't really like me or something like that. I was, like, trying to, like, hide and not be seen because I just felt that's how I felt. So I remember I was, like, going to the restroom. I live with my awesome roommates. They're great. And I think I, like, went. And then they're like, Sherry, what the heck? Why didn't you say hi to us? We wanted to talk with you. And because I was so, like, in myself, I was like, oh, they don't want to talk to me or they're just doing their thing. I'll just hide. Like, no one even. So, yeah.
Yeah. And we've talked in other podcasts too where we create our own reality.
Yeah.
Right. And it's how we think about the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's how we think about people. It's how we see things that really just builds and creates our world.
Right.
So within as without.
Yes.
And how we approach things and anything from like how we feel about money.
Right.
How we feel about love, family, jobs, like any of that, people, right?
Yes.
So, all right. So, to me, that this is a little bit of a hot button. Not to me personally, but it's a hot button to others, and I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit.
Oh, like that?
Yeah, like that.
She's so hip.
Not really, but we know that the racial tensions within the U.S. Right, and we feel that a lot. We see it in the media. We hear it sometimes with how other people talk.
Right.
And I know that you share stuff with me, and it's always an interesting perspective to hear from like your situation because from you being a child of immigrant parents who come from a different country and who don't really come with that whole ancestral enslavement attitude opposed to those who are born here in the US who may carry that and I'm not saying that they're not valid I'm not saying any of that but there is this heaviness and this perpetuation of attitude and I always enjoyed those contrasted conversations when you share with me those experiences that you've had, where you've witnessed that level of contrast, right? But here's the thing, a lot of those communities that are complaining about something being done wrong to them, they're the ones who help perpetuate it. Because of the stories that they tell inside of themselves. So now they're going to bring it outside and create it out here?
I find it really interesting. And I think, like, my mom's like my biggest role model, right? And I love it because she's just like, hey, I love everyone. All right. Unless you give me a reason, like, I really like everyone. So it is interesting when she'll talk to different people maybe who, different races, and also, like, some friends that she have that are also African American. And I think, I don't know, it was something about my Sweet 16, right? And I think, because I live in like a primarily white area, but, like, I had a lot of friends there. And I think when she showed them the pictures, they were like, oh, almost a little like disgusted or something. And she's like, what? It's like, well, there's no, like, that's weird or something like that. And I think I get what you're saying of, like, sometimes people can perpetuate the stereotype. And I guess the biggest one for me is, if I'm going to say it in a broader sense, whatever race, just insert the race, is all that, all blank, which can be,
any red, yellow,
right,
white,
and
chocolate.
Yeah, because it could be
rainbow.
Yeah, whatever rainbow, whatever creed, whatever. If you just say all or this, then I just feel like it could be pretty damaging. And I have seen it with different races, different people, different whatevers, where they're like, all these people are just this. And it's just like, well, you missed the opportunity to get to know that person.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, because you're lending now a level of prejudice, right? Yeah. And again, that comes from within you because of your thought patterns, your belief, your ideals. And the thing is you create those. Right. You didn't come created that way.
No. You
create those.
Right.
And by choice.
Right.
See, that's the rub, right?
Yeah.
Where we can all at some point in time, like, I could even go around just being a woman, right? We could base it on gender too.
Right.
Because there's plenty of talk out there about these glass ceilings for women and all this other stuff. But women in careers, they sabotage themselves.
Yeah.
Because they're in this circular cat fight amongst themselves. And just hating everyone around them instead of changing the chase.
Right.
Changing the approach, changing the thought.
Ooh.
So, and that's where you're going to hear me come back to this.
Right.
So, as within, as without. And that has a lot to do with your own thoughts that you get to pick.
Right.
You get to choose.
Right.
How do I want to feel today? I want to feel awesome today. I want to feel like everybody loves me today.
I mean, honestly, because I used to work at a grocery store, and I guess my favorite example I love to give is, I was cashiering, right? It could be long, it could be kind of boring, and whatever attitude I had that day, that's just kind of like what I would get. There would be some days where it's just really long and the customers, ugh. But then there's some days where I'm just like, you know what? I feel super awesome today. And people would just give me stuff. They'd give you, like, here's some food, here's some this, or well wishes, and it was just so interesting to see, like, day by day, like, depending on how I was feeling, that's kind of like what I was receiving in the day.
Yes. And it's also what you were seeing. Yeah. So sometimes we limit our sight too by our own vision.
Right.
So when we come back to, like, the not feeling so great after having, like, one of these really heavy dreams.
Right.
And then you're just, like, shrinking and blinders on. Don't look at me. Don't see me. You don't see me because I don't want to be seen, because I don't feel worthy, or I feel this heaviness or whatever. But people are still showing up with these gifts, but you're not noticing them because you're walking around with your head down.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then opposed to, if your head was raised, those same things would be happening, but now you're just paying more attention to that this thing is happening.
Right.
And this comes back to gratitude.
Yes. Ooh.
I know I'm hitting a lot of things here. I hope, like, you're keeping up.
Get your notepad.
Keeping up. So it is in those tiny little things. These are things that are in our faces every day. Mm-hmm. And it's about stopping and focusing on what it is that you really want. And if you're interested in having a light, happy heart, then noticing the little things, being grateful for those little things. Right. Right? That brings more joy. Because automatically, as you're feeling grateful for the most crazy, stupid, little tiny thing, even just enough to, like, I love to do it just to make myself laugh. Yeah. Right. And then once I get myself into that little laughy part, then I just know the rest is going to come. Right. And then it's easier to pick myself up and lift myself up. Right. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't want to just pick on the heavy dreams, because there's also some of those really delicious, light, airy, yummy feeling kind of dreams that kind of makes you walk around like, I feel a little exposed, but I just feel so good.
Has that happened to you before?
Of course.
Yeah.
All of these have happened to me before. Come on, girl. I've been around the block a few times.
Well, I mean, I just wanted to know, like, was there an example? Was there a certain time that you felt that?
So like you know how, and I know that you've probably had these dreams, and our listeners at one point or another, if you're truly honest with yourself, you've had these dreams where it can have like this romantic type of feel to it, right?
Okay.
Maybe some
That's
level
what
of
chocolate
intimacy,
means.
or maybe some level of intimacy,
Mhm.
or maybe it's just that. Maybe it was just even a parental child kind of a dream, and you felt like, you know, your parent was finally there in a way that you've always wished that they could be. But
Right.
it was just a way to lift you up and make you feel a little more secure and confident in you. Right. And so then you approach your day with this high energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people are like, wow, did you get some good sleep last night? And you go, oh, yeah. You know, meantime, you're blushing.
Kathleen out on the street just blushing. She just had a great dream, guys. She had some good sleep. Good for you.
Woohoo!
That's funny. So you have that dream, and then you just feel, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the point I'm trying to get to here is that when we have these dreams, obviously, well, not obviously to everyone, but dreams are a way to help us work through things, right?
Right.
To get us in there and to bring stuff up and to clear things out.
Yeah.
Sometimes things will happen during our waking time that maybe we didn't fully get to process. And now through sleep and dream, because sleeping and dreaming, it's all part of helping your body to heal. Right. And to come back to neutral, right? So it's kind of like once you go to sleep and you wake up in the morning, you're starting all over again.
Right.
If you allow yourself. Certain dreams will be a little heavier and they kind of carry through. But when you have those dreams that are heavier and denser and you're kind of still feeling like maybe sad or mad or something like that from the dream, and you know, oh my goodness, I will stop personally now because I've learned. Instead of like dragging that, because I remember being your age and having a dream like that and just crying all day long.
Aww.
You know, do you know how hard it is to go to work and not be crying and your eyes are all like, you know, whatever. And people are like, what's wrong with you?
Nothing. I had bad sleep. I don't know.
I don't know. I just had this dream and it won't go away.
Yeah.
Don't look at me. So I've learned that in the morning when I wake up for something like that, that's when I take some really big, deep breaths. I center myself. I acknowledge myself. I acknowledge that feeling. I give myself a hug, like, you know, even whether it's physically, give myself a hug or mentally just give myself a hug.
Right.
And just promise myself that we're going to come back and we're going to do something nice for you.
Aw.
Right. And reassure myself, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you ever have those romantic dreams about that person you really like and you just in real life don't really have contact with, or maybe it's an old person you were dating or something, don't call them.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh my gosh. No, thanks for that disclaimer, because do you know how many times, like, you know, either a friend or myself, it's like an old lover or something, and you're like, this is a sign we have to get back together, and everyone's like, don't do that. That's so no.
Yeah.
And you're like, symbols. It's just
it's a symbol.
Yeah.
It's a symbol, and it's about you.
Yes.
It's not about them.
Yes.
I don't care how intuitive, I don't care how psychic you are. It's about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not them.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Cut yourself that kind of love favor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, coming back to as within, so without, or so within, as without, we get to make our world.
Right. Right.
And that's really basically what that message is that we create our world. And it's how we think and feel that helps us in creating what's happening outside of our heads, what's happening out here, like across from one another, right?
Right.
So I do encourage you who are listening, who are watching, you know, really take some time and meditate on that and think about what is that for you. And I believe that if more people took time to recognize the fact that they are creating the world that they live in, and if they made some adjustments to how they perceive. And if we were all each able to take one step towards love, like love and respect, and just believe that that person means nothing but the best for you.
You've done that before. You're good at that.
Yeah. I mean, again, everything with discernment,
Right.
and you still want to protect yourself. So like, even though we're taking this step and we want to believe that this person means the best for us, even if they're like just kind of like being turds about things, we set healthy boundaries about that, right?
Right.
But we still want to meet the day and believe, okay, that's one person being a turd. That doesn't mean everybody is that.
Right.
Right. So we want to believe that, hey, I live in a loving world. Golly, wouldn't you rather wake up that way than, golly, the world sucks. Everybody, what is wrong with everybody? What's going on in the world? It's falling apart.
Is there any way to like shift that, or is that more of an internal thing? Or?
The best way to shift it is for you to start believing and start seeing and start noticing all the good that's around you. And when you start recognizing and acknowledging and expressing the gratitude for every little morsel of something positive around you, then all of a sudden, like magic, the world will change for you.
I do love that you're saying this, because it reminds me of a newspaper. I don't remember where I got this newspaper source, but you know how in the news it's usually pretty heavy, right? Mm-hmm. And then if you're looking through that news lens, you're just like, wow, the world is just like, it's so scary. I didn't realize there were news outlets that only did like kind of like the lighter news. And I'm like, wow, I didn't realize there's this much good news in the world. And then it just shows the shifts.
Yeah, well, we live in this media-driven world.
Yes.
Social media, your news channel medias, your school medias, your family medias, your, just media. People are constantly feeding us information.
Yes.
I think as individuals being exposed to this level of feed, right? This constant, this amount of feed, you need to really pick and choose.
Right.
What do you really want to receive?
Yeah. Yes.
Let's face it, we're human beings.
Yeah.
There will always be some level of tragedy somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
There will be somebody making interesting choices that will be horrific to even know about, witness, or see. And it's not that I'm encouraging people to turn a blind eye to anything.
Right. No.
Because being aware sometimes gives us an opportunity to step forward.
Right.
And to be that Christ energy to those in need.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And sometimes we don't know someone's in need until we hear about it.
Right.
But my thing is, don't get so caught up in it that your whole world is painted by that instance.
Right.
Right. Choose to paint the world the colors that you want to see.
Mm.
I like that, right?
I like that.
Wow, that just kind of like came out of my mouth. Choose it. Pick your own palette and believe it, and then choose to see that. Mm-hmm. Choose to acknowledge that. And as we acknowledge that and we see that in others or in situations, then our world becomes brighter. Yeah. But if we're all going to walk around saying, oh, this world sucks. Look at these people are horrible. What's this world coming to? Oh, my goodness, then yeah, there's no hope for you.
Yeah, because that's all you're going to see.
Right. You're looking at the lack of hope instead of looking at the lack. Look at the hope. Look at the sunshine. Check out a sunset. Check out a sunrise. Look at the beauty in that.
That's nice. Go out in nature, guys. It's beautiful.
It is. And it's a good way to heal and to come back into even balance, right?
Right.
And to kind of silence some of that other junk that's being fed.
Right.
And and on the flip side of that, no one's life is perfect.
Right.
Nobody's life is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, they're lying to you.
Yeah.
But we can choose to be happy, and we get to choose that. We get to choose our thoughts. We get to choose our feelings. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you tune in next time. Bye.
See ya.
Remember, you are bigger than anything that you are going through or anything that is happening around you.